Sam, I think we have to do 2 intros for this episode because we're pre-recording, and I've noticed that the whole idea of this being a Raptors pod is actually paying off pretty well.
Right. You feel like are you noticing like traction on the socials?
Yeah, there's a bit of a bump. And so today, theoretically, is June 14th, but it's absolutely not June 14th.
No, it is extremely not June 14th right now for you and me in real life at all.
So, I mean, June 14th, the Raptors, it's definitively happened, right?
Yeah, so, okay, no, June 14th, technically, there could be a Game 7 in 2 days from this fake
so
day.
we got to do we got to do
so there's 3
intros
possible
then.
intros that we need to do. Is this going to be like the Clue movie where we'll release different versions in theaters?
Yeah. Well, I'm really liking this new, like, you wanted us to do sound effects, but I'm liking us just using this to do multi-purpose voice recordings.
Yeah.
Someone said they might actually use the wedding intro at their wedding.
They better.
Which is
I've heard that Alexis on Fire is going to use our intro at their...
Did you tell them?
No,
or?
I didn't. I assume they'll just find it. I think it's sort of desperate if I tell them.
They're all listening, right?
Huge fans. Dallas Green, I think, in particular, is the biggest fan.
I don't know. I don't know about Alexis on Fire's pod proximity I'm such a sellout now that I'm careful about who I make fun of in case it's pod proximity.
Right.
You know? But I did notice that there's a new Dallas Green press photo where he's wearing an enamel pin of a fedora. Like he's literally wearing a fedora, but in enamel pin form.
In like 2-year-old form.
Yeah, it's so weird. But
I
anyways,
like that was your like spicy Alexis on Fire take. Is you're like, ooh, I'm just like, a little worried, but I want you to know he's wearing. I really want
to. No, I mean, like, I wanted to do like a whole tweet thread, like just fucking going hog wild on it. But I'm like, I don't know if I should do this because what if he comes on the pod?
I will say this. I mean, I feel like George is the only member of the band who's in the nation, and I also think I've never seen a band so effective at cutting each other down than that band. Like, just constantly ripping each other for how they're dressed. So, like, whatever you could say about Dallas Green, I'm positive one of them has said to him before. Okay. And it's like an admirable dynamic. So.
It reminds me, one time there was a press photo of the Canadian band. This is just Canadian alternative rock, 100% at this point. But the band The Trues, they released a press photo where every single member was wearing a different style of fedora.
I remember that. That's an iconic moment in Canadian history, was that press photo.
The ongoing history of new music. Okay, so what order should we do these intros? Just to be...
Let's do them.
Do you want to start heavy, like start sad, start
I think
excited, or start elated that you
I think
won?
it's always like bad news first, right? So let's go bad, hedge, and then victory, right?
Okay, and so I'm assuming you're going to edit this.
Yeah, I'll edit this all
We'll
out.
just use whichever one.
Yeah. So should I do
is the right
Okay,
one.
so I'll do like so welcome to Blink 155. Sorry to say that our team, the nation's team, the Toronto Raptors, they did not make it. They were beat by a team from Washington. Oh, my brain, Jesus Christ. I was just thinking about the other
coast.
You're
just upset from the loss.
That's it. I can't think straight. They were swept by the Washington Wizards like a couple of years ago, and so that's still like a fresh loss for me. But of course, I'm talking about the Golden State Warriors who beat the Toronto Raptors in, I guess, 5 games. I don't know how many games they won.
Well, you should know. I mean,
it's happening.
June 14th right now.
But anyway, it was an honor to just get this far, and thanks so much to the nation for showing support for a great team of guys and a great city. Next year they'll be back because, of course, I am predicting that Kawhi has re-signed with the Toronto Raptors already in this negative introduction that I'm doing.
And so is this the accurate level of depression that you feel about them losing? Like, I mean, when they lost the series, did you cry? Did you get like problematically anger drunk?
Yeah,
or did
or were you like, Everyone remembers the
you like
riots, right? And I just want to say I regret my involvement in the riots which spread across Toronto in the wake of their heartbreaking loss to the Golden State Warriors.
I think what you actually did was truly say, well, it was an honor to get this far, right? That's real.
That is how, like, even I was, at the office actual today. I don't know if I don't want to break this timeline, but someone was like, how do you feel? And I was like, it's just nice that it's happening. I don't care that they lost the game.
All right. Well, let's do. Okay, so that one. Okay, a splice here. I'll do a little. It's like a little thing.
Time. So we'll see.
Okay, this is.
Okay, and this is
if they won. This is
the game. So remember, there's three possible options.
Yeah, but I feel like Game 7 is more exciting. I think you should do.
Okay,
whatever.
So this is if they won.
It's your thing.
Okay, this is if they won. Okay, welcome to Blink 155, the only Blink 182 podcast on the internet to have correctly predicted a Toronto Raptors victory in the 2019 NBA Finals. I'm feeling great, Josiah. I don't know what you're ever feeling.
I'm feeling fucking fantastic because you told me that I was allowed to jump on the bandwagon, so I did.
You bought a shirt?
The last 30 seconds of the last game, I hopped in I was like, go Kawi or whatever. I cheered for him, and then he did his stuff, and he got on the board or whatever his catchphrase is, and then we won, and it was great.
You know what though? The fact that you are even kind of in a detached way referencing a catchphrase that you have seen on the internet, "Boardman gets paid," is I'm happy to know. I feel like it's getting into your head, man, or it's in your head because
it is. Everywhere I turn, some fucking dork is quoting this shit for clout, including me because I'm a Raptors fan now because I only cheer for the winning team.
You are truly the North, Josiah. And so we've all bought Teespring shirts with the Skanking Raptors logo.
And you've got the tattoo.
I got the tattoo of the Skanking Raptor, as was my promise.
Where did you get the tattoo?
I got it on my face. No, it's on the back of my neck, so my hair mostly covers it. It's behind my ear. It's one of those cool little tricks.
I feel like you have a lot of tattoos. Like you're running a real estate. You're gonna have to get a neck tattoo pretty soon.
I'm gonna need somewhere. The problem is all the dumb tattoos are hidden. Eventually, the dumb tattoos will sort of spread out to more visible parts of my body.
Yeah, have you done? Are your tattoos sort of like businessman planned out so that you can always hide them?
Well, only in that I haven't gotten tattoos past my forearm or whatever, middle of my forearm.
Yeah, why don't you I think you should get a wrist tattoo that says Carpe Diem.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll get the Carpe Diem tattoo when the Raptors repeat next year.
To go full mommy Facebook group, you should get a wrist tattoo that says Carpe Diem.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so that's.
We're just in a great mood because our team won, and we fucking love the team.
We feel great about the team,
Kawi,
yeah.
And it's just great.
That's good. Okay, now do we want to do the Hedge Game 7's coming up one or?
Yeah, let's do that because that was pretty good. I really did feel the emotion, the joy you were exuding was very sincere.
It was real. Yeah, you getting it? Okay,
so.
Okay. Welcome to Blink 155, a tense week in the nation as Toronto and all of us prepare for a Game 7. My actual prediction, Raptors in 7. Will it come true? Who knows? But I just want to say thank you so much to the nation for coming on this journey with me and Josiah. In this scenario, Josiah, are you on the bandwagon or are you waiting till Sunday to come on?
Yeah, that's knowing that there's Game 7, I'm absolutely going to wait until the very last minute.
Okay, cool. So Josiah's
the shot clock is running out.
Look at you. You know about the shot clock?
I did. I played basketball in grade 8.
You're tall.
I was very temporarily into basketball. Thanks to the Christian organization Friday Night Basketball, I think it was called. I'd go play basketball there, and then I had a friend whose dad was a children's entertainer, and he had this character that was an alternative version of himself. He'd always show up at church, but he was all about spinning basketballs, and I remember going to. I feel like I went to a spinning basketball convention.
You just went to Harlem Globetrotters church?
Basically, yeah, like a farm team or something. But I had this ability to play basketball where I would first of all, I was so unpredictable that I would never get to play unless we were losing or winning by 60 points.
So you go in garbage time?
Yeah, exactly. But then when I was I would take shots from the weirdest locations and get like a perfect swish, and everyone would get mad at me for some reason for like not playing correctly, but it would still go in. I was like really into basketball for a bit, and then I fucked up my elbow with my bike accident, and the rest is history.
It was your bike accident.
Well, have I ever talked about
that?
No,
you've talked a lot about shitting yourself and never talked about any sort of real serious injuries that you sustained.
Well, this one is the most embarrassing. I was riding my bike to work at Fast Forward, where I used to work the All Weekly.
I feel like you're lying. You paused a really long time before saying like where you were riding your bike to, and now I'm thinking like, was it like the racism store? Where were you going that you don't want people to know about?
I was riding my bike to the racism store. No, I was riding to Fast Forward, and I think I paused because I feel I'm at the point where I feel embarrassed that I worked for an Alt Weekly now.
Oh, that's what it was?
It's like, yeah, it's kind of just like, I don't like speaking about this with the familiarity of as if everyone knows what it is. That's a very Pageman thing to do. Okay. But it was the morning of my birthday. I sort of like treated myself. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna clip that audio out and play it for myself on my actual birthday. I was riding my bike to the racism
just sitting
factory.
There replaying. I'm not alone.
I was riding my bike to work. I was very hungover because this was still the era of me being very hungover and bloated constantly and just feeling like shit. I was very hungover, riding my bike to work. It was a huge piece of shit bike that I got for like, I don't know. I bought it from like some guy's garage.
Wait, was the bike
something.
A huge piece of shit, or was the bike huge and also a piece of shit? Like I couldn't tell from the way you emphasized it.
It was a normal sized bike, but it was a piece of shit.
This huge bike, it was a piece of shit.
So I was riding my bike to the racism store, and I was on the bike path by the river. No one was around, and my bike used to just like, it was so fucked up and shitty that it would start like squeaking sometimes. And I think in my head I'm like riding my bike, it's early in the morning, I'm feeling like shit, I'm kind of spaced out, and I'm like, oh, the thing is squeaking. I think the brakes are like rubbing against the front tire. So while I'm riding, I think what I'll do is I'll just kick it, and then it'll come, the brake will come loose and it'll be fine. And so I just literally like kicked the bike out from under me and flew over the handlebars and landed on my elbow. And then I was like so stubbornly not wanting it to be hurt that I just like it seriously felt like I was going to pass out, but I kept lifting my arm up I rode my bike to work. I like stopped at the coffee shop close by and got a coffee and went to work. And I had to like lay out the whole issue because of the pageman in chief wasn't there. So I like literally had to do some stuff lest the print not be delivered. So I did that, and then I like went to my desk and I tried to put my headphones on, and I seriously almost blacked out from that. So I was like, oh, I better go to the doctor. And then, like, long story short, I ended up overnight in the hospital getting surgery. I got like a million screws put in. And it was such an unlucky journey that I believe must have been 13 miles.
13 miles down the road lives a young boy. He's got jet black hair and blue-green eyes, and he's mine. And every now and then he and I would sit together on the porch.
Damn, that's insane, dude. That's like the sort of story that like I feel like every American, especially an American who's like done something like play in a band or work at an alt weekly for a job has, where you're like, I fell off my bike and then I never went to the hospital, but it's because, you know, they don't have health insurance. Whereas like you're right. In Canada, just like so dedicated to the magic of print journalism that you refused to take yourself to our free hospitals.
Well, then my like health insurance through the alt weekly was so bad that I couldn't get they didn't charge up front. I always had to get reimbursed, and it took forever and was annoying. I mean, it probably realistically took like 24 hours, but I was not into it. So I just
what did they charge you for?
No, I'm saying so that because of that I stopped going to physio after like 1 week. So I actually can't turn one of my arms all the way straight. So that's my basketball career is over. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm retired from basketball, undefeated.
Damn,
just like Cowie.
Because you are like, I feel like everyone I know who's like a little tall played basketball when they were a kid because some teacher was like, you
Yeah, exactly.
And then they discover that you can't shoot, so they just throw you into like kind of block shots in garbage time.
Yeah, that's me. That's my story.
Garbage Josiah. So 13 Miles by the band Blink-182. Good fucking God, this song, huh? Holy shit.
This is one of those ones that we were not looking forward to.
So joke season is back, but it sucks this time.
We started, yeah. Everyone didn't hate it completely and complain about it endlessly last time, so we thought we'll bring it back and make it even worse.
Let's make sure that it's really sick this time.
What are we supposed to do? These are on the list. We could be editing the list and lying to you.
No,
maybe we should have done that.
Because you know what the problem is? Initially, it felt like no one was checking, and then there was something that happened around the time where I was like, oh, like there's an audience for this, and like this is cool. Where it also was like people would start saying, oh, I wonder if you have this on the list, or like I built my own spreadsheet and I have 156 songs, and you'd be like, what? Because they were counting like a live version twice or something.
Yeah, I know.
I still think we were right, but we could have easily. Like, where does this song even exist? Like, I had never heard of this song until you said we might as well do this wretched song about.
You know what it actually was is that you, of all people, were complaining that we were being too nice lately.
Is that what?
Yeah, I remember a couple weeks ago. You're like, man, we should do a really shitty song. We've been so nice ever since Mark came on.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this is really testing our authenticity.
And I love the song, to be honest. I think it's got great lyrics.
Exciting melodically. I mean, look, this is one of those songs that does feel so unnecessary to shit on for 90 minutes. And I say that in advance of knowing that that's what's about to happen. Because it's not like the band thinks this song is good. Like, it's not like, this is one of those things, can you imagine telling Mark Hoppus, like, yeah, we spent 90 minutes shitting on what I think is just a live jam? Like, what is...
Well, that's the problem, Sam. That's exactly what you're exactly right. The caliber of humor in this song and the incredibly simple to the point of being embarrassingly stupid chord progression is the kind of thing that would make you think, oh, it was a hot mic and he just did this once and then they included it to be trolls.
Yeah,
however,
that's what it feels like.
They've done it live like probably 10 times.
Oh,
and
so this was like a funny joke.
Yeah, they're like this was a go-to party trick to be like, I'm going to sing this song about a boy's asshole. And that's just where I'm like, how do you get... This is where Blink-182's sense of humor and why joke season is so horrible, because it's like they quite literally are dim-witted. Like they have no wit to themselves whatsoever.
Yeah, is there like a funny Blink joke?
I don't
like
know.
Their whole thing is like they're goofy and wacky, and ultimately, like, have we ever really said, like, I can't even remember last joke season because you only remember the good times. and I'm pretty sure that like they are not funny, right?
And I think that does eventually become the joke, perhaps, that it's so unfunny and they're dedicated to the bit. But it's like, you can tell that Mark Hoppus is a smart guy and he wants to be funny. I mean, What's My Age Again has the structure of a setup and a punchline, even if John Levinstein disagrees with me. I think I know a little bit more about comedy writing than John Levinstein. Okay.
Fuck off, guy.
I don't know. Have they ever made a funny joke? That's a good question. I think the inclusion or like playing those acoustic Toy Page songs about fucking dogs to the label is a funny joke.
That's a good joke.
But this one, I don't know.
I mean, we can definitively say this is not a good joke. In that sense, I feel like maybe this is Mark at his most relatable to me personally, right? Which is to say, as you mentioned, Mark, an intelligent guy. I'm also an intelligent guy, so we have that in common. And I want to be funny, and from time to time, I am. But more often than not, I'm not. And so, but it hasn't stopped me from trying. Like, it hasn't stopped us from doing this podcast, which at some point you did refer to as a comedy podcast, which is horrifying and inaccurate. But certainly in the realm of where we've taken it sometimes. And so this, on some level, maybe is Mark at his most relatable to me. And therefore, I've decided I like the song.
But I just think that even when you're trying to be funny, and I think that you're funnier than you let on, and I endlessly giggle to prove it. But
thank you for performing your giggles for me. I do appreciate that.
I mean, the funny thing is, I don't actually think anything is funny ever, but I can't stop laughing. So that's why I'm the most twisted.
This is the Joker origins, Blink-155.
But I don't think that when you try to be funny, you go full like this is pretty edgelord to me.
I think I tried to be funny in this way when Blink was being funny this way. Like to me, I can picture myself, and this is why it seems like something that would be tossed off in a sound check of like being in the 9th or 10th grade and like sound checking and being like singing something nice, but then making it all like actually about fucking a boy. But I wouldn't repeat it. Like I wouldn't be like, this is a great joke to perform in front of at least 10 different crowds.
Yeah, it's so like there's just something about the way that they're crass sometimes. Even for me, I feel like it crosses a line where when I read it, I'm like, this is disgusting. It's like like this is just so gross. To say, take a look at the young boy and his naked asshole is like fucked up. Like I feel weird having the lyrics, not the visuals, open on my computer.
See, I have the visuals and not the lyrics.
So you just did an image. Yes. I try to do the most in-depth research, and I really dig when there's not a lot of info about a song. So I took each line and put it in Google image search.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you got some like great YouTube clips. So you're part of that YouTube community right now.
Well, it's not YouTube, but yeah, there is a new sort of the people who were banned from YouTube. We've started our own social network with these videos, so it's really good.
So where, for context, because let
me just say this first of all, the AZ lyrics upload. This is the username of the person who uploaded the lyrics. That's funnier than the song. Yeah, no, because this is the only because it's not like the song is on Genius. So yeah, thanks to the best thing is the way that the AZ lyrics is set up is to truly give credit to people. So it might say thanks to Josiah Hughes for adding these lyrics, and so this says thanks to sexyclown _ in your house 69 for adding these lyrics. So good.
And then it makes sure to credit the full band. So Barker, Travis L.
It actually is on Genius, but no one's annotated any of it. So that's a good start.
I wish it was like, here's what an asshole looks like. And it's just the Kurt Vonnegut drawing.
Or is this a drawing of friggin' the guy who started Genius.com?
Ooh, hello.
So this song appeared as a bonus track on the Mark, Tom, and Travis show.
Okay. And so this is where maybe we're showing our hand a little bit because as reference, like neither of us really have a strong relationship with that album.
Yeah, but the thing is, like even as a bonus track, like if this was like a hidden track or whatever at the end, I'd be like, okay, that's something. I mean, that's where you put this kind of thing. But then also from that era, one of their most beloved songs was a bonus track on that album, Man Overboard, and they also put this on the CD single. So it's Man Overboard and 13 Miles, and then a teaser of their, quote, words of wisdom, all the other foul shit that they say on that album.
Wow. So this was, cause when I was looking for it on YouTube, the version that I saw was the Man Overboard single. And so was this only on the Man Overboard single in Australasia, which is what Discogs has, or was this also on, like this is a Universal Music Australia release, so I kind of wonder if...
oh yeah, you're right, because the American one is just the song twice. So maybe they just knew...
So this is Australia only.
They're like, these people are fucking... They love... In Australasia, the pinnacle of comedy is Chris Lilly wearing blackface, and so they're going to love this song.
But I also wonder, like, does Australasia encompass, like, is it, okay, so it's only literally Australia and New Zealand and Tasmania and stuff, I guess. I wasn't sure if it, like, went all the way up and included, like, say, Indonesia or whatever. And then it would maybe like maybe be part of, why the band became so popular in that region. But no, as it stands, it's like looks like the only people who ever heard the song were Australians, and that feels entirely appropriate.
Yeah, this is like the backbone of Australian, just not even comedy, but culture.
Should we, because this is not a song, I don't know how people actually approach listening to this podcast, but should we read the full lyrics to this so people kind of know what we're talking about?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll let you do it so the quote sites can.
I think we'll swap. Maybe it's I'll do the first verse. You can do first.
Well,
two.
hang on. Let me. Okay, I'm trying to. I'll go first and then you do second. I can't.
You want me to
quick
say
enough.
naked asshole and wrinkled scrotum?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool.
13 miles down the road lives a young boy.
Oh, we're trading off.
Are we trading off lines?
Well, you paused for so long.
Yeah, you want me to do the first stanza then? No, let's trade off lines. I think this mathematically will work out well.
Okay, sorry, you start again, please. I misunderstood.
13 miles down the road lives a young boy.
He's got jet black hair and blue-green eyes.
And he's mine.
And every now and then, he and I
would sit together on the porch.
And I take off his pants.
Oh, shit. And I fuck him from behind.
And I love him for his heart and soul.
I love his wrinkled scrotum, too.
So if you see us passing by...
on some dreary, rainy day...
take a look at the young boy.
And his naked ass will fuck.
Yeah, you took all the fucked lines, man. I was trying to do verse,
I was trying
to
quickly count the lines, but I lost track of if it was odd or even. So
yeah. So that's the sort of level of poetic nuance that we're
it's not really a joke. It's like I'm having sex with a young boy, and
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, could a young boy? I mean, there's been so many people being criticized for sort of May December romances to begin with, but when you say a young boy, you're not really painting the picture of age of consent.
Well, and that's I think that's maybe up to the viewer. So you and I are bringing, perv brain into the mix here. But if you were...
right, so we're the ones bringing perversion to these
I think
lyrics.
So. If you were older, let's say you were in your 70s or 80s.
Okay.
It seems entirely possible that you might refer to someone
I will still
our
be doing
age
this.
even. Yeah. You might say, more likely you'd say young man as opposed to young boy, I guess. It's boy.
Yeah, and this is the year 2000, so Mark Hoppus was only, 45 back then or whatever?
I think so, forever 45. And I guess the wrinkled scrotum to me is describing, I guess more particularly a scrotum that has not descended. I guess the testicles have not descended. I guess
or
the scrotum
perhaps you can see
descend.
Maybe you can just see the wrinkles on the scrotum because there's no pubic hair covering it.
Right. Yeah, I would just say no one would ever describe. I don't, having not seen your scrotum, I can only assume that it's not wrinkled in appearance.
I guess, but I think of wrinkled scrotums and think of old man balls in a change room.
No, old men's balls aren't. Well, they're wrinkled, but you describe them as being low or big before you would describe them as being wrinkled. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like wrinkled describes a tight, hairless ball sack.
I really am actually now very curious if there's different shapes of everything. There's different shapes of dicks. There's showers and growers. There's different kinds of anatomy there's so many different beautiful shapes of anatomy in this rich tapestry of private parts. But are there different scrotums? No one ever really talks about that in pop culture. I would love to just sort of go on a journey, a scrotal journey.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest difference would be anyone missing a ball. That would look different. But yeah. I wonder if it's literally binary like that, right? Or if you had no balls. So 2 balls, 1 ball. So I guess that's not binary. I guess that's trinary.
My grandpa has 3 balls.
Are you joking?
I'm serious.
Your grandpa's 3 balls. How is it taking us 101 episodes of a Blink-182 podcast for you to tell me that your grandfather, that you are a descendant of a 3-baller?
I think whenever the term grandpa comes up on Blink-182 podcasts, is like, I don't really want to think about my own grandpa.
Right, it just makes it way too... I understand, yeah.
And also, Blink-182 doesn't talk about scrotums very often.
No, but sorry, does this mean, like, do you carry, like the 3-ball gene? Like, if I know we've talked about our interest in procreating or not procreating, but if you were to have a kid who had balls... Is there a chance that you carry? Like, what's the extra ball do?
I have no idea. I have no clue. It's not really something I've talked to him about nearly enough, apparently.
Paternal or maternal grandfather?
Paternal.
How many
but don't
siblings are
don't
on
you
your,
usually get genes from maternal?
The maternal. Well, they always say that about hair. I don't know if it's true about also ball. Does your dad have like a lot of brothers and sisters? How big is his family?
No. He had one sister. Okay. And then that's it.
So it's not like the 3rd ball helps him just like, it's not like a more powerful spray per se.
No, I don't think so.
Right.
Maybe the 3rd ball does store pee, actually.
In this case, pee is literally stored in the ball.
Yeah, just the one ball. Wow,
Damn.
we really so these lyrics have delivered a lot, but not in the sense of the intended delivery.
3-ball man.
3-ball man.
Oh, sorry.
What does it mean to have 3 balls?
I'm looking at so it's called polyaccordism, but first I'm looking at a photo of someone with 3 balls. Wow. This is like dude, there are only about 200 known reported cases of having 3 balls. Like, your grandfather is a medical miracle.
Now I'm wondering.
Do you know where it sits? Because apparently sometimes the 3rd one doesn't fall. Like, you might have a 3rd ball, like, kind of just like in your abdomen, like that just never fell.
I need to ask some questions about this.
I'm
also thinking I shouldn't have brought this up.
No, we're like airing your family's entire medical history on a podcast that a lot of people listen to. We can move on.
I'll try to find out. Yeah, I mean,
he's like, there's a medical wonder. Of course he is.
Proud of it. Yeah.
Wouldn't you be? I would like immediately. It would be the first thing I'd tell people about myself. Like the beginning of this podcast was like, "Welcome to Blink 155, the only Blink 182 podcast hosted by 2 guys with 5 balls between them." Like, it would be part of how we marketed this show.
Well, you could say
this is so cool. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
It's body season because the pee pee poo poo exclusive just came out too.
Oh,
and
that's
I reveal a lot in there. Too much, I think. Even as I was collecting stories for that one, I was like, I feel very sick because I did it all in one day, and I was like, this is disgusting.
Oh yeah, you got to spread that shit out. Hello.
But it's still not as disgusting as this song.
No. So I do think that young boy, wrinkled scrotum. Take a look at the young boy. Like, it feels like he is attempting as the narrator to emphasize the child's age. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so the one thing that could be construed as a joke that doesn't still justify it being a repeat thing that was done many times in front of many large audiences with young people is that I think I read he used to introduce it as a song that Tom wrote. And then he would sing it. So I guess that perhaps is the joke.
That's the joke. I get it. Yeah, I mean...
You're not laughing, though.
No, sometimes you don't laugh at jokes. I like to watch a TV show sometimes and just think, funny.
There are some pretty good reactions on the Song Meanings website.
Yeah, people really like taking a stab at alt interpretations.
Well, somebody on May 28th, 2002 commented twice in a row, the user Napple Snapple, that's just written twice in a row, I need to take a poo.
You should have got them on the poo poo pee pee exclusive.
I know. It's so much funnier than the song itself. I agree with Dan EBD, who wrote, this song is one of the worst songs ever written. I know Blink can write good songs, but what the hell do you call this? Like, that's exactly. I agree. I think there's a time and place for, like, dumb, funny songs, but you have to still try to be funny. Like, it's possible to be dumb and funny and still be funny.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've talked so much about, like, high-low and middle-brow and
I'm not looking for Blink-182 to, like, write a New Yorker piece. You know what I mean? I just want like
the California Deluxe tracks are sometimes an attempt at that, though.
That's true. Drew Plays Rock wrote, ha 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 ha. These are some fucked up guys. I hope to God that I never meet somebody like them. By the way, how do you put up lyrics on this site?
What the? I like this one because I think it's a good point. Mental Patient wrote, I like this song. It's amusing. Hey, if some of you guys hate Blink-182, then why spend your time on their lyrics page? Before I get yelled at by someone I've never met, I know everyone has their own opinion.
Wow. You know what? As usual, I think the Mental Patient is a lot wiser than some of the people outside of the asylum.
Something to teach us.
That's like every movie about mental illness ever.
Yeah, the true crazies are in society.
Yeah, but so what I said about Mark introducing it that way, there is a double meaning, though, because somebody else, less 182 Jake, said that Mark wrote it about Tom, and that's why he's talking about jet black hair and blue-green eyes.
But then is he the old man who wants to fuck Tom? Or is he talking about Tom getting fucked as a young boy? Like, is this a joke about a sexual assault that happened to Tom as a child?
What if it's not a joke at all?
Right, this was their attempt to like really address sexual assault head on, and people started laughing, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't. Yes, haha."
Yeah, it was a joke. Oh God. Well, I just checked because it does seem when you say jet,
like Little Children or whatever that fucking movie is.
When they say jet black hair, I was like, oh, it could be about Tom. But then I just looked up what color are Tom's eyes, and they're not blue-green as mentioned in this song. On Yahoo Answers, we see, what is Tom DeLonge's eye color? Okay, I am like madly in love with this man. I don't even know his eye color. Well, that is quite pathetic. So I think that I should know his eye color. So if you would be a peach and tell me, I would appreciate it greatly.
Update. I probably should have just looked at pictures.
Yeah,
I miss Yahoo Answers so much.
But anyways, Tom DeLonge's eyes are brown. And so not only are they not the same color as in the song, but also there's been many missed opportunities to talk about him having a brown eye. So that's
shit. I'm also just thinking about like the idea of some very serious movie about like pedophiles being soundtracked by this song, you know, like
yeah, I know.
Kubrick's Lolita is just like there's a boy down the street.
Like let's be real here. This is a pedophile joke, right? Like there's no other way of looking at it.
I feel like I don't know what the alternate interpretation of this song is besides that it's that pedophilia is funny.
And so that's something I really do love, actually, is something that's come up in my research. And I'll play you some live versions of this in a second just because.
Yeah.
But in my research, I've learned that, like, 13 miles is also some sort of unit of measurement in a marathon. Like, somehow somebody, for example, on the Blink-182 Reddit said, I'm going to be running a half marathon or something. I don't know if it's the right, whatever it is, half marathon. And they said 13.1 miles, all Blink, and they're like, what should I put on my playlist for this? And no one even caught that it's a 13 miles reference.
Well, probably because this person wasn't Australian or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They're not like an Australian who thinks pedo jokes are funny. So yeah, I mean,
it sort of makes sense because do you think like. Just like given, like jokes aside, obviously everyone who is in Australia is the descendant of some British criminal, and there's no way we know that sex pests have been a bit of a epidemic in Britain. So there's just like no way that Australia isn't in the same way that your family tree is rich with testicles. That like there aren't a disproportionate number of Australians who are the descendants of sex pests, right?
I mean. Just look at them. There's no way that you enjoy Vegemite if you're not.
No, we're never going to get the mayor of Wodonga on here if we keep...
She's been ghosting me. It's fine. She won't write back.
Mark Hoppus was easier to get on the pod than the
I don't
mayor
even know
of
if we've
Wodonga.
ever talked about this on the pod, but there's the Wodonga nation, which is basically just Maddie. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
And then the guys from Sacramento... they've been working on trying to get Wodonga and Sacramento to become
sister cities,
so that it's Dong Sac.
Oh, I mean,
So
how do
then-
you do that? Like, how do you? Because doesn't every city have like a dozen sister cities? I don't really understand like the diplomatic purpose of the program. But
Yeah, me neither. I don't know either, but all I know is that that's incredible, but I feel like I've already said too much. The joke will be too obvious.
I feel like that's going to be a hard road because like Wodonga, fine, but like Sacramento is the capital of California, right? So it's
Didn't
not.
know that.
It's hot town.
Man, these guys are going to have a fucking meltdown that we said the word Sacramento so many times.
Yeah, and I'm also not going to double check that it's the capital.
Oh, whatever. It probably is. But anyway, so this is
have
a
to
song
do
about
it.
pedophilia, and it's a pedophile joke about how pedophiles are funny. And we don't endorse it, but that's what it is. And because of that, and because of the marathon thing,
Is there like a pedophile marathon? Where are you going with this?
Adidas, trying to be a funny brand on Twitter, has has seemingly endorsed this pedophile song.
What? Oh my god!
It's so good.
Oh my god!
So somebody in
Oh, this
2013
is so good.
named Reese Edwards, they wrote, went a little old school for this morning's track set, having Blink-182 playing on my iPod, hashtag 90s, at Adidas Running. So this person is just being thirsty as fuck, first of all. They're hoping that Blink-182 is going to see this in Adidas, and someone searching the hashtag 90s is going to see this. Like, come on, Reese. But Adidas Running, trying to appear in and hip and cool,
Oh my god.
replied to Reese and said, must have been 13 miles, right? Or is that too obvious?
This is an account with over 1 million followers, absolutely endorsing pedophilia on Twitter. You've screen capped this, right? Like, if
I will right now, yeah, just because as soon as this gets out,
because you're gonna, we're obviously gonna all retweet this.
this is the end of the Three Stripes era as we know it.
Yeah, we're gonna take down Adidas on this episode. Those pedophiles at Adidas.
It's so good. Oh, I love it.
That's such like amazing like shitty brand Twitter. This is from 2013 when brand Twitter was, I guess, just really becoming a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of proto brand Twitter. Like, I mean, good for Adidas for being ahead of the curve, because I also feel like at this point, like, some fucking obscure like Whataburger or something could be like, LOL pedophiles, and people would be like, yeah, that's normal. The brands are all nihilists now. Like,
Yeah.
if someone was like, Whataburger is a pedophile on Twitter, that's just their bit. Everyone would be like, yeah, that's brands now. That's normal.
Totally. If one of the other brands was like, "Don't go to Whataburger, it's for pedophiles," you'd be like, well, "Thank you for the warning, Burger King."
Yeah, but they're like, oh, they're just getting into it because Burger King didn't invite Whataburger to Wendy's like live stream or whatever.
Right.
Like, which brand Twitter is fucking
which
insane.
brand Twitter? Which brand do you think is like the most pedophilic? I feel like maybe it's like Jack in the Box, just because it's like already just got a playful child's name.
Could be like Jack in a Box, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think the most pedophilic brand Twitter is clearly Adidas Running.
Adidas Running. Yeah, this is what I like about this is that this guy did the thirsty tweet, added this account, and then has not engaged with their response. So this verified 1 million+ follower Adidas Running account makes, like not a clever joke per se, but does the work to at least Google.
They
like,
at least
does
went to
Blink,
the wiki.
Yeah, have any? And what did they search for to get this? Like Blink.
I bet you
Blink Run.
anything. I bet you anything they went to the same master list that we've gone to so many times.
And just skimmed it real quick.
I mean, this is
wow,
because
we're
also
feeling this playlist.
well, let me look at our full list. I think this is the first. Oh, it's the second because of 6-8. In 2013, 13 Miles would have been the first song. That
So they
appears.
weren't even really trying.
No, they weren't, and they especially weren't trying because they didn't click the lyrics to see what they were endorsing with their 1 million followers.
I hope that Adidas has to issue an apology. Like,
Do better.
An earlier tweet is not reflective of Adidas's values as a company that is not for pedos.
So
good.
bad.
That's very good, actually. That's a good tweet, man. That's incredible. Like, this is sort of stuff that, when a song like this comes up and I think, we'll just sort of talk about the Raptors for 90 minutes. And then you find an Adidas tweet that references it. It's like,
I know. That's
just
what I was
hats off,
saying.
Josiah. It's
That's
a
what-
Josiah respect moment from me to you.
These are more intense episodes because I need to make sure that it's
that there's adequate content.
and there's quite a lot still to come. So let's keep
Okay,
going.
let's feed those piggies.
Okay, so this is them playing it live in Montreal in 1998. And not only that, but this is part of the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour.
Okay, perfect. So it's really all of our interests this week converging.
The best part of the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour, in addition to its poster, I don't know if you've looked at it recently, but I'm just like, I look at it every day lately. I just keep looking at it and trying to make it more high res with my brain because I can't figure out what's in the background. I love that the writing is poo poo and pee pee. It's made of those two things. It's just like such a thing of beauty. But not only that, like they named
This
a
poster
tour
is incredible.
They named a tour the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour, not realizing that it would be like one of the most important moments in the band's history because this is the tour where Scott Raynor left halfway through and was replaced with Travis Barker.
Amazing.
Like Blink-182's history is irrevocably tied to the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour.
And like everybody always, because the Loser Kids tour is like the iconic Enema of the State tour, but this is, if anything, more important.
Exactly.
Maybe the icon. It's because it's it's like a plunger, but with sort of toilet paper wrapped around the top of it. It's a pretty sick tat. It's already
true.
the Blink 155 tattoo font.
I can't tell what's in the background. Sarah was saying she thought it was maybe a plunger that's made to look like a Cupid arrow.
No, it's
which
the
I think
same
is
as
incredible.
It's the same as of what the actual poo poo pee pee is written on. It's just it doesn't have the roll of toilet paper coming off of it. So it's toilet paper sort of mounted on the top of a plunger.
God bless the designer that came up with this.
Yeah, this is like incredible 90s design. Like
another thing is, I mean, I actually didn't have the time to search the etymology of just the phrase poo poo pee pee, which I should have.
How did you not have the time to do that?
Because there's so much to talk about this pedophile song somehow. But the thing is, I see the phrase poo poo pee pee a lot in pop culture, like in that order, in that phrase, or maybe pee pee poo poo sometimes. But
no
it's
one
like
says pee pee poo poo.
No, they say poo poo pee pee, you're right. But it's a thing that's like everywhere. And I think it might be one of those things that might have originated with Blink-182 that we now take for granted. It's just everywhere in pop
Poo poo pee
culture.
pee did not originate with Blink 182.
You think before 97 people were saying poo poo pee pee?
You know, it's hard for me to say, but I just can't. I
At
don't
the
know how
very
to,
least, they were early on the trend. And even just yesterday, I mean, I shouldn't have said just yesterday because it's June 14th right now.
Yeah.
But rising viral rapper Lil Nas X, he photoshopped a joke poster for his upcoming tour. And it has a whole bunch of references because he is... Sure, his music's fun, but he is a tweet decker. He comes from a history of like bad viral content, and so there is some question over his
tweet decker. Yeah,
you know, there's more to the story than meets the eye. He knows how to go viral, but even in his viral content about his tour, he called it the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour.
That's incredible. So you think he's being influenced by?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's directly there or if it's just like Blink-182 is so influential in the Poo Poo Pee Pee sphere that that's why.
I'm looking at Poo Poo Pee Pee 1992. Damn, I don't know. It doesn't look like anybody said it in 1992.
Blink-182 invented the phrase "poo poo pee pee." That's what I'm saying. Anyways,
I've come up with your timeline of the band in Exclaim, so that's helped. Oh wait, hold on.
That's because it's called the Annals of History. That was the best pun I've ever done in my life.
I think. Oh, okay. Guar used the phrase "poo poo pee pee caca" in the song "Captain Crunch" in 1992.
Okay, fuck. Yeah, but of course Guar did. Blink-182 made it cool.
Right. Well, but maybe maybe before that everyone always said "poo poo pee pee caca."
Oh, yeah, and then Blink-182 were like, look, that's redundant.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all about the quickest, snappiest, I don't know. Anyways, this is them. This is Mark playing 13 Miles at the University of Montreal in 98, and Tom DeLonge's playing drums. crowd surfing.
Yeah.
And there's a giant skanking bunny in the background.
Oh, it's so sick.
Wait, is that pick out after?
Is that what they would do? That's how they'd end the show?
I guess.
Okay. I have absolutely changed my mind. I think that this song fucking rules. It's just such a great come down. Like now, this actually feels like a joke now. To be like, it's 1998. We're coming off Dude Ranch. Damn It is a thing, and it looks like I don't know if they come out and do an encore at this point. The video stays black for a long time, but this is how they would end their set. Like now it's funny.
So that's the thing about their joke songs, is that as songs they're reprehensible, but then in practice they always become funny, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Like you can utilize that. And I wonder if there's like I want to see if all. Okay, here's the set list for that show. They end the show with 13 Miles. They play Damn It like in the middle. This is oh my god. This is the set list from that show. Okay, Pathetic, Peggy Sue, Wendy Clear, Voyeur, Josie, Untitled, Family Reunion, Mutt, Apple Shampoo, Dick Lips, Dumpweed, Damn It, Eminem's Carousel, The Country Song, Enthused, Does My Breath Smell, 13 Miles. And they walk off stage.
So they did the country song too. I'm pretty sure that's another awful one.
Yeah, but that's honestly so fucking sick.
Yeah, it's really good.
Damn It's right in the middle there, and then if people are crowd surfing. I feel like if I was there, I would have thought it was really funny. And therefore, I have to be completely honest and now admit that I love this song.
I also think in Montreal, they would have been like, wow, that is fucking great. This
it's absolutely kind of Canada's pervy capital.
This is just for laughs. You know what I mean? They're just doing it for laughs. That's what they always say in Montreal.
If he was dressed as a cop and then he started kissing another cop,
that
would be
just
peak,
if
peak
he was
rear.
a cop. He's a cop, and he opens the door to the cop car to reveal that he's actually wearing frilly stockings and not the standard issue cop pants.
Totally, yeah. Or he opens up the door to the cop car and he's fucking a little boy in the cop car.
that's on the Just for Laughs that they only air in Montreal and Australia.
Yeah, Quebec and Australia get different JFL gags.
I still just find this kind of humor really irritating. But then you're right. In practice, it's like it's fun.
That's the thing. I think seeing it in that specific context, I kind of get it, and you're like, okay, cool. That's a. Now I even get why you'd play it a few times and why you'd kind of develop a pattern, because it just becomes this like sort of anticlimax to a pop punk show. Like I think it's like a bit of a bait and switch in terms of audience expectations, and it's funny. That said, and as much as like we don't think it's funny, I have very much enjoyed like this entire hour that we spent talking about, scrotes and assholes. So it's not that I clearly do think that this is funny.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and I'm not like when I don't know. I'm not pretending to be offended by it. I'm just like, ugh,
it's just not funny. Yeah,
I just wish it didn't exist. Kind of like I just wish that. I feel like they are funnier than they let on, and they could have taken opportunities for joke songs to actually be funny.
I guess, but now, okay, so this song getting released is sort of one thing, and maybe that's the mistake, but it seems like that mistake might have been made by Universal Music Australia. And so this is really where like the particulars, like the context of this project that you and I have undertaken, kind of do no favors to, like, this is not the way you're supposed to talk about a joke from Montreal that came after Does My Breath Smell in 1998. Like, this is entirely too much. Like, now I'm on Blink's side on this. Mark, if you're listening, this is too much.
The other problem is, like, I think they didn't realize they were going to get this famous and have people this obsessed with them.
Yeah,
and so that's
exactly.
the other problem. That we're
like,
also
if they had really fussed over a joke song, we'd be like, ugh, don't try so much.
Well, yeah, like the newer joke songs.
Exactly.
I just think joke songs are kind of a bad idea always.
I mean, listen, it's joke season, so we have to embrace it. I love the joke songs. I love to laugh.
You can have just because a season is there doesn't mean you have to love it.
Right.
Or do
yeah,
you
that's true.
love every season of the year?
I do, when it's the dead of winter, I just sit there thinking, what a perfect time.
Well, here's another thing that I'm afraid is going to make you like it even more. I can't find them pieced together, but they used to like make this combine with a joke cover of "Genie in a Bottle" by Christina Aguilera. So.
I'm listening.
Oh wait. Okay, the start of this also is like so good. I don't think that they mean it to sound so like anti-imperialist and badass, but that's how it comes across.
Right now, take a minute to give America the big finger, please.
Fuck America.
Fuck
Hey,
America.
let's all say, hey, Mark. I think we should all say thank you for Baywatch, though, because that's a fucking good show.
We can all say thank you to America.
David
I'm a genie
Hasselhoff.
in a bottle, baby. Come on and let me out. I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. Come on and let me out.
I mean, that's pretty much it, and then I guess it goes into 13 Miles after that.
Amazing. No, you're right. Them saying "fuck America," damn.
It's so good. I gotta cut that
Yeah.
out of context.
Friggin',
Just for the Mark's Hoppus account that exists now.
yeah, totally. Comrade Marks Hoppus himself. The Marks Hoppus account is good, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like I've already seen people debating the minutia of their particular strain of Marxism, so I don't know. I don't want to get involved.
Okay,
I've got
turns
enough
out
of
it's
that
bad,
going on.
actually.
I'm just confused by too much. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if Marx Hoppus is tanky or not tanky enough.
Oh,
or
right.
Like, who
This is a
knows?
problem for your, like, many socialist group chats, Josiah.
I know. I'm just trying to go online and have a laugh here.
People are, like, totally mistaken. They're like, oh, you're actually deeply political. You're...
Well, I am, because I like my politics are the video of Mark and Tom saying "fuck America."
Right. I feel like you're just, like, sort of Chauncey Gardner, though, where you've just sort of shown up and you're like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Welcome to, Canadian DSA.
I'm gonna wake up as the head of the DSA one day.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I feel like DSA hasn't been far left enough for these people for like 3 years.
Yeah,
It's-
totally.
But okay, so the Genie in a Bottle thing's pretty funny. I think it's worth noting that Genie in a Bottle lyrics too are basically Blink-182 lyrics, but except funnier. Like the Genie in a Bottle lyrics about like rubbing me to make me come or whatever is like
Yeah.
that's funny. That's
Well,
actually funny.
It's professionalized humor. Like, that's the difference, right? It's same thing with, say, like, Before Four. If you get down on me, I'll get down on you. Like, pop music, when you're, like, it's your job to sort of work in innuendos into a song, like, there's like, some funny shit in there.
Yeah, like what's that Britney one too? Does she have like a "If You Seek Amy" chorus or something? Yeah,
Yeah.
"If You Seek Amy," like that. Yeah, exactly. Like, come on.
I would actually argue that If You Seek Amy is more in the 13 Miles, kind of like entirely too literal, where you're like, come on.
No, it's that there's still. It's more subversive to be sneaking that onto the radio than it is to be like, "Boo! I fucked the kid." like that's not subversive.
Good impression, though.
Thank you. But the other thing is the melody of this. People have. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear it, but I've seen people on Reddit say that the melody of 13 Miles, whether intentional or not, was reused in the bridge of Misery. Which would be
What?
amazing
No,
if it was
I
on
don't think
purpose. Well, I lined it up anyway, so we can try to hear it if we want. Here we go.
15 times a night when the sun's gone down in the dark awake and you're not around and the closest thought is the edge of oblivion. 15 times a day when you check your phone and it won't be there and you're all alone 'cause we always lived on the edge of oblivion.
Not sure.
Where's the fucking song?
Miles down the road.
Holy shit!
I gotta hear it.
It's the same!
Do you think it was in his head? It's numbers too. Maybe he can't say teen numbers without doing that exact intonation.
Yeah, that's when he's thinking, when you're thinking teens, there's only one way to go. That's That's unexpected. Who figured that out? Did you credit whatever
no,
Reddit sleuth?
It was from Reddit. That's all I got.
All right, well, hats off. That's deep. Jesus. That holy shit. Okay, cool.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
Damn.
Okay, so we're gonna keep going. I was trying to figure out if like the phrase 13 miles is a specific thing other than I don't think he's referencing
Other than a half marathon?
Do
No.
you think he is? Or perhaps.
No. Is he like an avid jogger? I mean, I feel like Mark Hoppus tweets a lot about going to the gym, but I don't know that I have a sense of what sort of exercises he does when he's there.
I kind of wish I would have asked him, actually, because I could use some tips as well. I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
You're jogging wrong?
Yeah, I think so. Sort of like hitting the treadmill diagonally.
yeah.
Making myself maximum sore. I literally do use some runners that I bought at Walmart for $20 like 5 years ago. Like I think I'm definitely going to injure my feet for good.
Right, you're going to end up with some sort of issues. Yeah, I feel like that's the scam of running. It's like it's this natural human thing, but you got to spend like $500 at a specialty running store to get shoes that won't cause your toes to all break off.
Yeah, but whatever. I'll just wear those shoes. It's fine.
And then your nipples bleed if you run a lot.
I do get sort of an interesting sweat pattern. It's like a Rorschach test every day.
Oh, nice.
Because it's like, yeah.
You should tweet it, today's test.
Yeah, today's test. I was thinking maybe 13 miles is a reference to as the... What's it called? The gray lady? The white lady? What do you call it?
The gray lady. Come on.
I actually don't know.
Imagine if the New York Times was called the white lady.
What's it called? It is the gray lady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the white lady is probably trying to think of a funny thing. HuffPo. Is she white?
HuffPo is absolutely the white lady, yeah. That was good.
All right.
Took you a minute. Like hearing you workshop it sort of dampened the impact, but
yeah. Well, see, comedy is hard, and that's why I guess we should respect 13 Miles for its
exactly right?
comedic prowess. So according to the Gray Lady, the old New York Times itself, I don't know. There's probably more nicknames for it, like the Bard and whatnot, right?
Yeah, it's the Bard's book, the Gray Lady,
the Bard's book. Anyways, just through my Googles, I found that the street of Broadway. If you've ever been to New Yorkers know this street really well. If you're if you grew up in NYC, as we like to call it, you'll know this street called Broadway. And it's 13 miles long. So perhaps perhaps the boy that Mark Hoppus or his character in the song was horribly taking advantage of horrifically was on the opposite end of Broadway. And then that could be sort of maybe a dark lesson about kind of just the city that never sleeps and sort of the kinds of characters that are wandering around. I'm really bad at thinking of all the nicknames right now. Like, what's another nickname for New York?
The Big New York, I believe it's frequently called. I just like to think of maybe this is like a little bit of maybe it's a period piece as a song, because obviously before Hollywood became the place where young dreamers went to realize, wanting to act or direct or what have you. New York and obviously, Broadway as the center of the theater in America would have been the place that was drawing sort of doe-eyed young, future stars. And so maybe this is
likely being, like,
as we know, as we know, and unfortunately, these sorts of environments are sort of rife with inappropriate
predators.
Criminal behavior, and so maybe this is a bit of a character piece, as you suggested, about sort of an old theater producer and a young boy with a scrotum and an asshole. And coming to the city with big dreams of starring in South Pacific or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And then those 13 miles. Wow.
This tragic 13 miles. This is great, though. I'm so glad that we're learning about Broadway.
Yeah. Well, there's that, and then this one I wasn't going to play, but then I had to because of the length of the video is 1 minute and 55.
Of course. So now we have to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, and so this is uploaded by Corvette Mike Northeast in
Yes.
2011.
Do you think Corvette Mike beefs at all with like Corvette Mike like Southwest? Is there like, or do they have a partnership?
It's not just the Corvette community; it's the Corvette Mike community.
Right? Yeah.
But this is a video about a 33-year-old Corvette that only has 13
This
miles
is one
on it.
strange
Wow.
story. The new prized possession of a Plymouth car collector is covered in layers of dust, and he loves it. It's a rare Corvette found in a
He's a little
very
piggy.
unlikely place. And as
Loves
Bill
it.
Shields
Loves the
shows
mud,
us,
little
the
piggy.
years
Loves the
of
filth.
grime and dirt are a big part of its appeal.
He's known as Corvette Mike for a reason. Inside his Plymouth showroom are dozens of Corvettes, all shined up, hand polished, and ready to go.
Damn, this guy
And
owns
then
so many Corvettes.
There's this dusty 1978
Look at this
Corvette.
dusty-ass
but
Corvette.
look closely. It has 13 miles on the odometer.
13.8.
There's a brand new Corvette, and it's all full of dust, and that's the way it's going to stay.
In 1978, a guy in Ohio bought the limited edition Corvette and stuck it in his barn, then walked away. Recently,
Why
he
is the
needed some
newscaster
cash,
voice saying
and
a
Corvette
guy?
Mike
You know what I mean? It should be
ended
like
up with
an
it.
Ohio man, like some fucking dude in Ohio
Battery.
bought this car.
And the fire
Asshole
went
just
out.
left it in his
Asshole.
barn like a dickhead.
Everything from 1978.
This is 500,000
And
views.
it's even got some rare options, which was the CB radio.
Yeah, CB radios were hot back then, but not as hot as this vet.
It's because the newscaster is like, look, the boys are talking. It's like this is the
they're
segment
doing-
of the news where they're taking us to the man cave, basically.
Oh, okay, I get it. It was like literally written in.
Some so and so down in.
You're having this. I
nothing.
thought my brain was like slow earlier, but you're like, it's.
I've been talking about poo poo and pee pee for days on end.
Right, yeah, that's right. Because also, I mean, again, you know, Secrets of Time is like we've condensed the recording of like a Sclusy, an episode, your poo poo pee pee Sclusy. Like you've literally been talking about shit and piss and vomit for days before vacation.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. And vacation is like I'm going away for like 3 days, basically.
Yeah, it's really stressful. Have you recorded enough Sclusies for the 3 days you're away, Josiah?
I knew this would happen. This is a dry spell. We're going 2 weeks of no Sclusies, and people are freaking out right now.
Yeah.
They're tweaking on the timeline. I can tell.
I love how many people are mad in the comments, like, "Oh yeah, 33 years and it fired it up, no problem." This guy's a liar. I hate liars. Oh, these fucking liars! Like people are just in the comments, just digging into, I guess, Corvette Mike. It's rude.
Well, you know, I'm not going to say that Corvette Mike is a liar, but I will say this: Corvette Mike has a reputation to protect,
That's true.
and so he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be on. I mean, even to say it has only 13 miles when it has 13.8, like if you put that in kilometers, that 0.8 changes the number. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So Corvette Mike is a fucking piece of shit as far as I'm concerned.
Corvette Mike, you're canceled.
You're canceled, Corvette Mike Northeast. You piece of shit.
Corvette Mike Northwest, though, we're still cool, but you know, you're on thin ice.
Yeah.
You're on fucking notice, Corvette Mike Northwest.
Corvette Mike Northwest is more of a chill kind of Pacific Northwest type of guy, you know?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Okay, so the song Misery by Blink-182
Yes.
has the 13 miles sort of intonation, as we've established. There's also a band called Misery Kills that has a song called 13 miles. Whoa, sorry, that was too early. But this band called Misery Kills has a song called
Is Misery
13
Kills a
miles.
popular band, or does it just sound like they're probably popular because this is like just the most like alt press era?
That's what I was thinking too. Like this, I feel like I've seen this album cover before, but I think it's just insanely generic because
Right,
this
because
only has
it's a
this
woman
doesn't
like
have that many
applying.
views. Yeah, it's like a lady who's like scary but hot.
Yeah, well, so it's a hot woman putting on makeup. You can see that she's hot in real life, but then in the mirror, she's got like horrible, ugly, like.
Probably because she like dumped the Misery Kills guy.
And the name of the album is My Ugly Insides. So it's about how pretty people who are mean to you are all ugly on the inside.
Like this is what I thought. I don't think I've ever heard the band Bullet for My Valentine, but isn't this all of their album covers? Are
Yeah,
like
this is definitely 13 Kills is their big song though. Like I'm looking at Misery Kills on on Twitter, and their second most recent tweet is a live video of them playing 13 miles.
13 miles.
So this is like maybe the Misery Kills hit.
So this is what they probably put on their, like, they probably use like Sonic Bids or like one of those other ones that breaks your computer
when they're applying to like
pure volume or whatever.
yeah. When they're applying to like Rock Isn't Dead Fest 2019.
Yeah. And they always get booked because people think that they're famous because they really have nailed the branding.
They look like they are a famous band.
Yeah, it's so weird. Okay, here's Misery Kills with their version of 13 Miles. Production sounds kind of cheap a little bit.
Yeah, it like almost rocks, but it definitely does not rock.
It has the kind of screaming that I think I would have liked at a certain point in time.
Totally.
The high pierced one is what I was more into. Like it almost, I don't know, I can't even remember any of the fucking bands, but I don't know. You almost got it, but it's not quite as good as the Pedophile Blink-182 song.
Yeah, I agree. Close second.
But I actually wrote down a bunch of songs called 13 Miles.
I'm not shocked to hear that.
You thought it ended with the Corvette video.
No, I'd never thought that.
But I thought, so maybe I'll play this metal one next. And this is the most Battle of the Band's name I've ever heard. I love it. This band is called
Megaphone Diplomacy.
And they even have a logo, MD.
Yes.
So I just want everyone to know, I'm going to play this, but the copyright/ownership goes to Megaphone Diplomacy and its members, and they've used the wrong "its" here. So,
ownership to.
Here's Megaphone Diplomacy. That could definitely be the No Warning album, Suffer Survive.
Yeah, like that sounds like a lot of like pretty popular like sellout hardcore records, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, or like Comeback Kid maybe.
Yeah, like whatever, like, you know, a bunch of Bad Earth Crisis records.
But the thing is, I also feel like every local metal hardcore band has a song where it's like a 2-note high guitar intro with like nee noo nee noo nee and then dun dun. Like everyone has that song that does that, including The Hand. I think had some songs like that too.
Nice.
So it's a good move.
A proud tradition.
It is a proud tradition. Oh my god, I'm skipping some of them because there's quite a lot of songs called 13 Miles, despite it not really meaning anything. So it's quite interesting, but. I'm going to play 2 more. This one, I got to save my favorite for last. I'm going to do this one first, which is, I must warn you, it's not the final version of the song.
Oh,
13
okay.
Miles.
Well,
It's
thank
a
you for
demo.
that caveat.
And also, this guy apparently, in addition to not having instruments,
Damn,
he
doesn't have a hat.
He didn't have a hat, so he had to sort of adorn a clip art hat onto a selfie of himself.
But you wanted that hat so bad. Like, it's not like a funny, like maybe you'd hope at a glance that he owns a hat that good, but he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. So this is uploaded by BB Ribs Music, and it's called 13 Miles Till Empty at Hampton, Virginia, I want to say. And he does a little intro, too, just so we know that this isn't the final version, because I don't want you to think, like, sometimes it's hard to tell. You know, a demo can be recorded while you can't tell if it's the final version.
Yeah, no, I get that. You want to kind of respect people's process.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So this one sounds like this.
There's a video of the song I wrote for Lauren and Chloe, and it's really sloppy, and I'm not videoing me because I haven't shaved, so here's the song. Stand out the window, praying for a way, just work and make a living, raise a daughter the right way. She's got 13 miles to empty, and Chloe's on her mind. She's got 13 miles to empty, trying to find a way. She's living by the moment, trying not to stress the time. She's got from those who love her for help along the way.
So that wasn't the final version.
But I mean, for a demo, I mean, Bribs Music. Like, I'm excited to see where the finished product takes us.
This is like literally my friends who work for record labels do literally get demos that are exactly like this.
Really?
Often with less information, but it's like, look.
Like, do people send that into Mint Records?
Yes, they'll be like, I'm 21 years old and I live in Virginia, and I swear I have more talent in one finger than anyone you've ever met, and I've got the drive and passion to do it. And then their SoundCloud page will just be like a question mark over a face, and then it'll sound like this. It's like, I mean, good on you.
But I think take a risk. Like, if you're Mint Records, like, you never know. Like, sign that. That could be like Bribs could be a superstar.
It's true. I know. That's why I think we really got to lean into this Blink-155 record label. We should just start signing everyone and just fucking destroy ourselves financially.
Really extend ourselves, yeah. All my credit cards are maxed out. Keep signing these young boys in garages.
Not just like, I'll put it on Bandcamp and slap the logo on it. I'm talking like some real A&R shit. I want to develop these artists, you know?
That's it. I want to sort of look to classic labels, which were really in it for the long haul, investing in a career.
I fear that this last one is already signed. Otherwise, I would be all over it, because I don't know if this artist is called Dem Bones or if it's called Surfendo Tingly Beach.
Oh, I'm not. Okay, I don't know, man.
This is a very Tim Robinson looking.
It is.
It's like not the Bones thing makes me think of the Money Bones.
It is,
sketch.
yeah. The Bones are their money,
but it looks more like the Conor O'Malley tricking old guys into recording music kind of vibe.
Yeah, so it's like a sort of scantily clad woman in like sort of I guess like a Stars and Stripes bathing suit maybe, like leaned up, and it's extremely male gazy in the sense that it's just her midsection and her legs. Like her head has been cropped out of the photo, and she's sort of leaning up on the edge of like an old 50s sort of muscle car with big wings.
And it's one of those classic, like I want to say baby boomer or even older kind of photos where it's a colorized black and white photo as well.
Yeah, but it's also like, as a result, like it looks like the beach doesn't appear to be fully black and white. It just appears to be muted. And so it's sort of pulled up against a quote unquote beach that actually just looks like a sort of like a sandy pond. Like on a really gray, October day.
Right. Yeah, but you got to respect. I think they're called Dem Bones.
Yeah,
and you
but
gotta respect
the title Surfando is like really big, and then Tingly Beach is Tingly Beach.
No, Tingly Beach. Yeah, maybe. So the album is Surfando Tingly Beach, and the band is Dem Bones.
Also, are those like Crocs under the car? Like you see it like next to the
or like water shoes or
like flippers.
Yeah. And also, is there a fish hanging from the car?
Yeah, and also, is there a pumpkin in the foreground? Like it really looks like fall.
Look, when
I
you're
hope this is
good. I mean, how could it not be at this point?
Yeah.
Here's Dem Bones with, and also this was uploaded by CD Baby, meaning we're almost definitely going to get flagged for playing this.
Oh yeah,
on the
yeah,
pod.
sick. Okay,
But,
so Dem
definitely
Bones
worth it.
taking down the pod. Thank God.
Bring it on. Mama called me up in the morning. Bring it on. She called me from a telephone booth. Bring it on. She said, hey, now, Daddy, I'm going head home. But I
Bring it on.
I thought you might like to hear the truth. Bring it on. Well, I'm tired of your stories.
Bring it on.
Well, I'm
Bring it on.
tired of your Steve Chevrolet horse, yes.
Bring it on.
I wish you were like you never did me no harm.
Say 13 miles already.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I even miss you one day. 13 miles
Yeah.
of 13 lines of bad cocaine. 13 buried in bad luck. But I can take the pain. 13 years going nowhere. 13 nights of going insane. 13 smiling bosses. But I can shake. I can take the pain. I'll bring it on, bring it on.
Yo, Dem Bones rocks.
Let's start a Dem Bones 155 or whatever.
Dude, it'll be like Dem Bones 12. It'll be more manageable, probably.
How dare you? I think Dem Bones probably has a robust discography.
Well, let's find out. I'm gonna check out their Bandcamp.
You know what's weird is whenever I try to go to cdbaby.com, it doesn't work. Like, it says, like, colossal failure or some sort of message like that. Like, I can't go to CD Baby. I don't know if they've just blocked me because I know I'm going to be making fun of all the blues dads.
Yeah.
Like, CD Baby does not work on my computer. It's so fucked.
I don't know that this is the Dem Bones that I found on Facebook is like a British group with a top hat for a logo. And some like Star Wars ass Banksy art where a stormtrooper has changed Star Wars to Stop War, which is
That's
like
even better.
very Josiah. So like
No,
that's
this Dem Bones, like, they have an album.
Caddy Daddy.
They have a song called Caddy Daddy on the album X-Rayed where they're all looking at a skeleton. But there's a song called Dickhead by Dem Bones that's really looks cool. Maybe this is about drums.
I ain't sorry to say I lost my good looks today.
Maybe that is what you found because the Adbusters flag is on this album art.
Starting to get screwed. Too many cans have been crushed.
wow, really culture jamming.
And too many kicks to my balls.
What the fuck is this?
See, that's basically the Bones are their money.
It is now atop of my head. No longer below the belt.
I feel so sick and weird right now.
Dickhead. I am sorry.
That's just
What the fuck?
that's just what No Means No sounds like.
Right. So how is that the same band?
I don't
it's
know.
the same channel. Maybe there's a
Dickhead.
cooler Dem Bones. Maybe CD Baby accidentally uploaded the other Dem Bones on the same page.
I feel like this could be like a CD because I know friends who have bands that have the same name as other bands, and CD Baby tends to fuck up their lives a little bit.
Are you friends with one of the Dem Bones?
I can't comment on. I should stop talking about Dem Bones because I'm going to get in trouble.
All right. Well, this is not a Dem Bones podcast. As much as we wish it was. So let me get it somewhat back into the Blink universe. This one I had written down a while ago, and then I found it again because it has the word Miles in it. But this is not a cover of 13 Miles, but it is a song in the style of Blink-182 called Miles Away and Nothing to Say. This was uploaded 2 years ago by the artist J.E.T. On SoundCloud.
I love Are You Gonna Go My Way?
The monkey pissing in its mouth. That's the only good Pitchfork review ever.
Oh, right. Are they Australian?
Are you thinking of Wolf Mother, maybe?
No. Are they Australian? Jet are Australian.
Oh, they are. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Look at
That's why
me,
they suck
real
so
true
bad.
Australia head.
All right, well, here's a different Jet, J.E.T., with a Blink-182 style song called Miles Away and Nothing to Say. I will say this. Usually when someone says a Blink-style song, they come up with some terrible easycore kind of shit, but that almost could have been like a Tom DeLonge Blink song.
Yeah, totally. That was sick.
It was kind of close.
GET, the superior GET band, I'm willing to say right now.
But yeah, J-E-T, but you're right.
What do I... Yeah, who cares?
Oh, there's also a music video. Well, it's more of a performance video on YouTube. Damn, shout out to J-E-T. That's cool. Good work.
Sick.
Better than 13 Miles, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're not gonna believe this, but there actually are a couple covers.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So I'm gonna play a couple, and then we'll end this godforsaken episode.
You played me like a dozen songs called 13 Miles, and there are covers? You're fucking pushing it.
I know. I know, but look, I mean, I was just doing anything to not talk about pedophilia as much as possible.
Yeah,
I was trying to protect us both.
Was not very successful. I feel like that was the first hour of the podcast, man.
So this is uploaded by Mr. Lucano Amaro, who has written that it's the 13 Miles full band studio version. So that's what everyone's obviously been looking for.
Oh, yeah, good.
So this, apparently, according to him, is a full band studio version. It sounds like this. It's advertised as a full band studio version, but as you can see in the comments, someone actually just swiped the drum track from All the Small Things, I guess.
But I mean, it syncs up.
It does sync up, and I don't know what I think. Do you think it's better or worse?
Well, I gotta come clean with you at this point in the podcast, Josiah. That's the one that I listened to before we started recording. Yeah, absolutely.
So to you, that is the definitive version.
When it started, I was like, "Oh shit!" I was bamboozled by Mr. Lucano Amaro, because like the actual version says like live and also looks fake. Like there's no, it's not like this is on the Blink-182 Vivo channel, and it's not on Apple Music.
I'm commenting as Blink-155 that this is the real version.
Yeah, this is canon now. So like I heard this and I was like, right, okay, cool. But now I can picture how it actually is supposed to sound. But it's important for me to make this extremely clear. I have officially not heard 13 Miles.
Well, the one I played earlier was the Man Overboard version, where I was skipping it. It's just like a bunch of annoying banter, and then just him playing the guitar.
No, yeah, I can put it together at this point. Like
okay, good. I mean,
get it.
If we need to start the episode again, we will.
We probably should.
I'm willing to miss
sake.
Chromatics tonight if I have to. A band I've been wanting to see for over a decade. I'll miss it and redo this episode.
Okay, that's
if we have
highly honorable of you.
Okay, something that really makes me feel weird is that there's like little kids covering it also.
That's fucking weird.
It's just strange, right? Like, I mean, maybe it's perfect for that. To be a little, maybe this is the perfect kind of joke for a little kid, but like, look how little this kid is.
Is kids saying about fucking kids bad?
I don't know, maybe not.
Because when you were a kid, who did you want to fuck? You don't want to fuck adults.
But when you're a kid, 13 miles is a very long distance as well, so maybe even just...
Well, I mean, but pop music is awash in sort of distance-based hyperbole.
Right. Well, this is by the Scrums, SCRUMZ, and there's just an adorable little Harry Potter type of boy playing it and singing it. I think it sounds pretty bad. And like his friends are...
Keep taking off their shirts?
Yeah, I don't think we should be looking at that.
It's just...
I think we're setting off all sorts of...
Yeah, like you and I are not going to be able to travel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird
there's
one.
a couple like wise ass nerds that covered it with the Genie in a Bottle intro as well, but I'm gonna close out with this instead because I found like outside of the lyrics, which are already almost nothing, the chord progression is so generic, and yet somehow it's made its way into like a guitar lesson generator.
Amazing. Yeah, so people looking for the tablature, would they be able to find something?
Yeah, like, so this is uploaded by Lamb's Guitar.
This has got to be like auto-generated, right? Like, how does this?
It must be, but how would it be auto-generated? Like,
I don't know. It's like all those like weird kid videos where you're like, how did a bot make this? But somehow a bot did.
Well, this literally is a weird kid video, in the worst possible way. Yeah, like maybe it's like what's the word? What's the S word that for like
it's scraping data or something?
Yeah, maybe it scrapes the discography and then turns it into MIDI automatically, or maybe there's a MIDI version. Maybe there's already a MIDI version.
That seems that seems possible.
There's like annotated music notes as this plays, and it sounds like this.
How many Blink songs do you think you could sing over this? Like, I'm just sitting here being like,
yeah,
you and true. I should get away for a while.
I have a question, and I assume the answer is no, but do you know how to read music?
Oh, God, no. I played percussion.
Oh, yeah.
In the band.
It looks like this video is going along.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But this doesn't look correct at all.
No, this is just like no.
What the fuck?
This is definitely generated by a bot scraping some tab website and finding like this is.
There's got to be a less confusing way to learn this terrible song.
No, this is it. This is the only way to do it. If you want to learn guitar, you got to prove your metal. You got to walk into a music store and they're going to demand.
They're like, you better know how to play this weird algorithm form of music
or else
notes.
Get the fuck out. You're going to be shamed out of the guitar section.
All right, well, that's it. I can't handle this anymore.
So, Josiah, what are your final thoughts on 13 Miles by Blink-182?
You almost tricked me into liking it when you were being posy for a second, but it's bad and I hate it.
Well, I have successfully tricked myself, and I think it's good and rocks.
Welcome to Blink-155, to someone who's been on our radar for a very long time, and we finally roped him in. It's Whitmer Thomas. What's up?
Hey, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess, to get started, I just want to sort of understand how Blink-182 has, been such a big part of your work and career and stuff. It seems like they're tied together.
Oh, yeah, big time. I started doing comedy a long time ago, or not too long ago, 8 years ago. But I used to tell a joke right when I started about the song "I Miss You," which is kind of just like a very basic thing that a lot of people do about Tom's voice and his verse, you know.
Yeah.
But back then it wasn't as hack. It was still kind of special. And the bit, I guess, was how do you kind of grow up and age and still have that singing voice is, I guess, the main joke. And then it's kind of talking about how Mark seems to be making an effort in that song to sound a bit more goth or gloomy, you know, kind of right. A bit more serious, and then Tom comes in and he's just like back to his old self, you know what I mean? Which reverts that song back to that's what's so special about Blink-182.
So it goes, I miss you, I miss you.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep, I cannot dream tonight. I need somebody and all wills. The six straws signals keep driven in, so haunting our time. And as I stare eternal, there's spiders.
Do you think at any point that first singer was like, oh, are we still doing that voice?
We're 37.
anyway, I was telling that joke for a bit, and then Mark found out about it, and he came and we played that song together at a show that I do and or used to do in LA called Power Violence.
All right, Red! Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot dream tonight. I need somebody and always. This sick, strange darkness comes creeping on, so haunting every time.
That's unreal. I mean,
yeah.
There's already so many questions I have, but first of all, like, I guess it's a similar position that we're in where it's like Mark's been on our show and he follows us, but also like we love making fun of Blink-182 even though we love them. And I mean, was it weird to like navigate that line when you sort of cross over and you're collaborating with Mark on stage?
At first I felt really awkward because I wanted him to know that I really love them, and that's why I'm able to make fun of it, because I like making fun of it because I know so much about it, you know? I know so much about Blink, and I know every one of their songs, so it's the best. I'm best at making fun of that.
Right.
And Mark understood, and he makes fun of Blink-182 more than anybody. And so he's a very disarming guy. Like, he's a really nice guy. So it wasn't such a big deal as it turned out. And he was happy to do the song with me and wanted me to have it like be as exaggerated as possible. Right.
And what about, have you ever heard anything from Tom about it?
No, I never have. And it's funny because often it almost feels like the whole internet knows that like Mark is the one, because sometimes people will post that bit and they'll tag him in it, but they don't ever tag Tom. So it's just kind of funny that I don't really know much about Tom, his personal life, other than like the Joe Rogan podcast and all the stuff that's been coming out lately. But
so you're like hands down a Mark guy.
Yeah, well, as a little kid, you like Tom because he sounds the way that you sound. Like, if I was going to be a singer when I was 11, I would sound like Tom. So I naturally kind of flocked to his songs more. But then as I got older, I really started to kind of appreciate Mark's stuff. And I also grew up playing the bass, and so I learned every one of Blink's songs. And Mark's bass lines are like the best bass lines ever. So
amazing.
I guess, yeah, I'm more of a Mark guy, but also I love Tom. I think his voice is like iconic and probably the most copied singing voice in the last 15 years.
So like you mentioned, kind of you were early on the wave of making fun of the I Miss You voice. And I can hear you're turning right now. Which way are you turning?
I'm turning left.
Right on. The classic, one of the two.
Yeah.
So you were kind of ahead of the curve of like dunking on Tom, and I'm just kind of curious how you feel about, because I think at this point just kind of Blink-182 being generally a punchline is kind of played out. Even there's so many memes and everything, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. If you're gonna make fun of Blink-182, go deeper at this point. But I mean, how has your journey been with Blink-182 jokes? And you sort of mentioned that they feel a bit hacky now.
Yeah, it's kind of hacky. I think it started where it really, I was doing it for a bit, and then Nathan Fielder did the thing of like 10 hours of the verse from I Miss You.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of opened the floodgates of people kind of not really knowing anything about Blink-182 other than that verse,
right,
and that song. And then it was over at that point. And I stopped doing that joke after.
Oh, did
that,
you?
Unless someone, and sometimes people will ask me to do it, and I'll do it. But that's about it for that joke.
And because you have a new one now. You basically have a new one now. Like, saying all that, I think your new Dumpweed video that you just posted was like incredibly charming and coming from a place of like true fandom and sort of capturing the like innocence of, because we always watch a lot of cover videos on this podcast and we're obsessed with like 13-year-olds covering Blink songs shittily.
Oh, dude, me too. I love watching those videos, and I love watching videos of if Angels and Airwaves was Blink-182 and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, the video that I made on Instagram was just it's basically comes from me looking at those videos of those kids covering the Blink songs or Weezer songs or whatever it is. But that is truly what me and Clay were doing. And we never had a drummer, and we were always just sitting there, and everybody was telling us to be quiet, and Clay was really upset at his parents and always flipping him off and stuff like that. So that, it definitely comes from a sincere place. And hopefully that's why people responded well to that little video. Also, I worked harder on that thing than I ever have on anything. And yeah, I probably should have been putting my time and energy into something else. But
I don't think you've actually listened to our podcast before, which is totally fine. But I just want you to know that working way too hard on something that specific and tied to shitty teen covers is like you've just described the last 2 years of my life, basically.
Well, people really love it. So that's really cool. And I mean, you got the guy from Blink-182 on it, so that's great.
Yeah, I mean, there is just like, okay, well, I wanna like sort of zoom out a little bit more and like, what is your history with music? I'm curious. I mean, I've always gone, when I see that you've named your group Power Violence. I'm curious, like, did you grow up listening to a lot of punk and hardcore? Are you an actual like Power Violence snob, or what's your own musical history?
Yeah, me and my buddy Clay are from Alabama, and we were it started out like a pop punk band, and then that evolved into a regular punk band, and then that evolved into a hardcore band that was kind of grindcore, metalcore kind of stuff, and then that's where it kind of ended. But the scene in Alabama and in Pensacola, Florida, we're from down on the Gulf of Mexico, so the scene down there is really small, so there's not a lot of like counterculture bands, like indie bands at all, really. If there is a band down there, it's a Jimmy Buffett cover band or a Dave Matthews cover band or something like that. So just playing any of that kind of music, you would always end up playing shows together. So, like it'd be like we would do a show that would be like our band was a hardcore band, and then we'd play with a ska band, and then we'd have a Power Violence band on the bill. So it was everything kind of, but I never was in a Power Violence band. But I loved Power Violence and grew up listening to kind of the staple Power Violence bands through my brother.
What was that? Well, first of all, what was your band called? In case anyone wants to dig it up.
Oh, all of them? Well, yeah, good luck. You can find some of it on Pure Volume, but you can't listen. You click on the songs, but nothing happens.
Oh, shit.
We were first, the band was called Dim Wit, which is funny because my name is Wit, but we never connected it. We just thought it was a good name. And then that changed into Hopeless Case. And then Hopeless Case then changed to Say Your Last, which is where we started to be more like almost like Screamo,
Okay,
and then that evolved into Veteran, which was like hardcore tough guy stuff that I really wasn't
oh my God, I
too
love
down.
It.
Didn't love Veteran.
What did you play?
But I didn't. I sang. I always sang and played bass.
Oh shit!
Or I only sang. It depended on what kind of band it was. But and then by the time we were in Veteran, we kind of started to develop a little bit of a following, and we had some interest from some of these little like metalcore record labels.
Please name as many names as you want, because
there was this one label called Stab Here Records, which you would have never heard of. They only put out like 2 compilations, or maybe just one, but then they recorded us to put on their second compilation, Stab Here Records. And we got to go to this cool studio and record it and all this stuff, and we were all 17 or 16.
Oh my God.
And our drummer was 22 or 23, and he just took it really seriously, and we would all sit and write a song together, and then the drummer would get to band practice and he would be like, no, that sucks, it's like whack or whatever, and so we could just never get anywhere. And then one day we all love skating and stuff, and so one day we were all sitting, me and Clay and the other two guys in the band who weren't the drummer, we're all sitting after school somewhere, and we were like wanted to go skate or something. We had to have band practice, and then we were like, do you guys want to do this anymore? I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. I just want to skate and have fun. And so we all decided to quit. So we called the drummer, and we're like, we all quit the band. And he was at the rehearsal space.
Oh, shit.
And at the time, it wasn't a big deal. We went and skated. But looking back as I get older, I'm like, we were all 17 years old, and we kind of ruined his life.
Oh, no.
He was finally in a band that was getting to do something, and you know what I mean? And we just quit so we could go skate. And I think we kind of fucked him over.
Damn. I mean, yeah, there's always some people who are like, they've just always dreamed of being on a label, and then other people who are like, I mean, I don't want to go on a 70-date tour.
Right.
I don't know. So, yeah, I guess it would have fallen apart one way or another. I'm picturing a lot of Christian hardcore in this scene that you grew up in. Is that true?
Oh, big time. We were always playing in churches, and sometimes the people would make us pray before we had to go on stage. Oh, we wouldn't really pray, but
Amazing. And so,
yeah.
I mean, the thing that I guess maybe just no one ever talks about it, but you don't hear a lot about people going from like hardcore and punk into comedy. Is it more often than I realize? I mean, I know Eric Wareheim played in some like screamo bands in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, when we were kids, we were so influenced by Jackass and Blink-182, and even when we were in our hardcore band, we would always talk too much in between songs, or actually back then I wouldn't really talk too much, but the other members of the band would talk a lot on the mic to the crowd and stuff, like making jokes, and,
right?
Or trying to make jokes or whatever it was. But really, what ended up happening was we came to LA, Clay and I did, and we were in a band with the other guy from Power Violence, Bud, and we were in a band called Tooks, Tooks, which you can probably find on SoundCloud or something.
Oh yeah.
Which was just kind of like a blues punk, loud, kind of really inspired by the time period, like the new garage explosion in music with the OCs and stuff like that. And I really like George Thorogood at the time tour. When I listen to it, that's all I hear, and it's really embarrassing for me. But we were doing that, and we were having a really hard time fitting in as a band in LA. Everybody was really cool and really talented, and we just felt like such southern kind of silly hicks. And so Clay and I were making short films and stuff at the time. We really that was our main goal for moving here, was to get into writing and acting and directing and stuff. And so we rented a theater to play a couple of short films that we had made with Buddy. And then we hosted it together, and then we realized like we're getting the same thing out of doing this, except we get to just be fun, have fun, instead of having to be with all these cool people playing music. So that was kind of so we just sort of stopped playing music, really, is all that happened.
The talking in between songs just became longer and longer, essentially.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I get that for sure. Amazing. And so, do you still keep up with like punk and hardcore or anything like that, or kind of like left that in your teens?
I don't really keep up with hardcore. I always really liked pop punk.
Yeah.
And I always really liked emo, like the original, or I guess the second wave emo bands like Saves the Day and stuff like that.
Right.
But I was never really into super hardcore stuff. Like, I liked it, but I was more into cheesy metalcore, like Norma Jean or whatever it would have been.
Oh yeah, it's sick. Amazing.
And less into Champion and whoever it was, Blue Monday or whatever.
Oh my God, I grew up in Pacific Northwest, so I know those bands very well.
Yeah.
Go It Alone. It's
Yeah,
another
exactly.
big one.
Going Alone. Kids Like Us.
See, my problem back then was I always even then I thought it was really funny and I thought I was liking it ironically, but then I just ended up loving it so much.
I think that happened to Clay. Like Clay thought it was so cool, or he thought it was hilarious. This like tough guy thing, these brass knuckles, and like this, all the gangs. What were they called?
Yeah,
Like the crews,
FSU.
Yeah, FSU, all that stuff. He thought it was so funny, but then I think he actually ended up liking all of the music and stuff, and it took him a bit to shake it.
It's very dangerous. You're playing with fire.
Yeah.
That would be
and
cool.
then Clay dropped hardcore for math rock.
Oh my God. It would be cool if you had gone one step further and Power Violence had been the first FSU comedy crew.
Yeah, dude. Well, the truth is, like, hardcore and Power Violence fans hated us.
I bet.
Because they thought we were appropriating them or whatever. But Clay and I, when we first moved to LA, we wrote something called Power Violence. And then it was about some bullshit student film kind of thing. And then, so we just liked the name Power Violence. And we figured it wasn't, it's so stupid, Power Violence. Right. Ridiculous genre title. So
so you were saying you were into some early Power Violence. Like, what was your bands? Because I grew up in Vancouver and I was obsessed with the band Gob, but then I was always confused because there was a Power Violence Gob as well. Like, there's pop punk Gob and Power Violence Gob.
Oh really? I didn't even know about Power Violence Gob.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And Gob is like a really dorky that's pretty niche pop punk.
Yeah, I know. But like their toilet bowl logo, I'm like, I can't argue with that. It's too perfect.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. The bands that I got into as a kid, I liked any Power Violence band that had a high pitched screamer, like Charles Bronson.
Oh hell yeah.
I didn't love Spaz. I thought Spaz was funny, but I wasn't like dying for Spaz because I didn't like the kind of singing.
I was feeling the same way, and then recently, because we were talking about Power Violence on the pod, I think I was like, I gotta listen to Spaz again, and it's aged surprisingly well.
Yeah, I bet you it's probably better than I remember it. But then as I got older, there was this band called Piss and Vinegar where we grew up, and there was this other band called Pain that it was like local Power Violence stuff that I thought was really cool. My brother was in a band that had a Power Violence song, or a couple Power. It was always a thing for like the metalcore bands, and where we were from to have like 2 Power Violence songs.
Totally.
As if to say like we're cool or we're crazy or whatever it is. I don't know.
A little tip of the hat.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I guess another big question that we're always trying to understand and wrestle with on the pod is like, so you grew up actually involved in your local DIY scene. You've kind of seemed to have had a streak of DIY-ness beneath the surface of your whole career, and yet you're also a massive Blink-182 fan. How do you kind of rectify those two things?
I had never had any shame. I loved it from the start. It wasn't like Clay. Like I think Clay fell out of love with Blink after Enema of the State.
Yeah.
He was probably a bit more of like an elitist about, not anymore, but like every teenager is. Yeah. A bit more elitist about his like music stuff. But I don't remember there being an issue. It was always just Blink-182 is cool, and everybody liked it except for maybe Clay and this other guy Justin in our group. And so we would, I remember like going to play a show in Birmingham, which was 5 hours away, and then driving back in the middle of the night with 7 people in a van and listening to all of Dude Ranch or whatever it is after playing like this, grindcore show.
Right.
I think you're so starved for any sort of cool music down in the South where we're from that there was no time to be elitist about the the scene, you know, and I wasn't liking like Simple Plan. I was aware enough to go like, oh, Simple Plan is a little whack or
Right.
or whatever it is, or even Sum 41. But
Wow. Hurtful.
there was something special
as
about
a, as a
Blink-182.
Canadian, that hurts me.
Well, listen, you can't go. I mean, Sum 41 now, it's like, wow, they did rap punk. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Derek Whibley seems to really have gotten a hang of whatever was going on with them.
Hell yeah.
And they got their original guitar player back.
And the guitarist from Gob is in the band now too. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I wasn't too worried about what people were thinking. And Blink-182 evolved with me. Like, my brother's 5 years older than me. He got me a Cheshire Cat record when I was, 10 or 9 or something like that. And then Enema of the State came out right after that. And so I felt like I knew about them before they were famous. And so I kind of always, I just didn't feel like I was supposed to hate them. Also, I was pretty young too.
Right. I mean, and they did evolve like in a very like interesting way that was tied to what was going on in pop culture without seeming desperate.
Right. I mean, and then I had gotten really into the emo music whenever they came out with their self-titled record, and it was like, I remember thinking when they came out with their self-titled record, I was like, this is their attempt at being emo, and I don't know if it's cool. But then I ended up really liking it, and then also so many bands started to copy that. Like, they were so many people's gateway into the emo haircut and like the emo kind of sound, and then people started singing like Tom DeLonge a lot, like in emo bands and stuff, and pop punk.
Totally, and the like small silk screen on the bottom side of your shirt.
Oh God, the weirdly placed logo.
Well, okay, just finally, right now we're talking about a bunch of joke songs in a row, and everyone hates when we do that because for whatever reason, we all think of Blink-182 as being funny, and then when they try to write joke songs, they're often just painfully terrible. I don't know. Do you have any feelings about like Blink-182's silly joke songs, or specifically 13 Miles, which is like this B-side from the Mark Tom and Travis show?
It's bad. Well, I mean, it's very bad. They could make sense why they didn't want to release it on the main Mark Tom and Travis show record. It almost seems like Mark is just making it up, probably, right? Like, he's just making it up on the spot.
I mean, you'd think that, but there's multiple live videos of them doing the same exact song.
Oh, really? Oh, Jesus. Well, here's what I'd say. I mean, the cussing one is really good.
Uh-huh.
It's the shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker. And then the, it'd be nice to have a blowjob from your mom. That is funny. To me, it's funny. But yeah, I think that their songs, the main reason they're considered a funny band is because they approach music in a very vulnerable, honest, self-deprecating way that is funny. When you start to think about what they're singing, it makes you laugh because of how desperate they are in their songs.
Right.
And that's what's funny about it. And so when they're actively going, let's make a comedy song, you immediately are losing the desperation. And so it's not as funny. It's the same thing with stand-up, at least my own stand-up. Like, that's why Blink-182 is considered like a silly band, is because they'll sing this love song, but at the same time they'll talk about there's only so many ways I can make love to my hand. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why I think when they actually try to actively write a comedy song, it's like, I don't know about this, man. You're missing the sincere desperation, the vulnerability.
Absolutely. Okay, well, is there anything you want to plug? This is coming out in a couple hours, so it's very fresh.
Oh, wow, cool. Okay. I don't know. Look, I made this Blink-182 video on Instagram that it took me a long time. I had to burn it to a VHS tape and then figure out how to get my VHS tape onto my phone it took a long time. And also, I've used it making a Snapchat filter that has a baby rattle in the bottom. So we were only able to film with the top part of the phone. And so just for that reason, you gotta check it out. If you like Blink-182, you might like it. Yeah, I do a show every third Sunday in LA that you should go to. If you follow me on social media at Whitmer Thomas on any of the social medias, you can see the show. It's on how to get tickets and stuff, but it'll be good.
Misunderstood, said in many ways. Too scared to run, I'm too scared to stay. Not a leave, not a leaver. Never dead, no, never cheater.
It's a team from Toronto, Canada. We the North are now we the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Yo, I just want to say we finally did it. Been day one fan of the Toronto Raptors, and we finally did it, and we're the champions. And I've been cheering for them since I was a child. And so I just want to say shout out to everyone who was with us along the way. Shout out to Drizzy Drake and everyone in the Six, and shout out to the NBA and the other teams will do the high five thing where you walk by and high five each other. Shout out to all the players and to the mascot. And finally, I just want to say, we the North.